Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monday, January 11th, 2021 Maplewood City Council meeting. Now, in opening up tonight, I was thinking about this. I was a little reflective and thinking that life is really a series of hellos and goodbyes. We just said goodbye to 2020, and I think all of us would concur that we're very glad that 2020 is over. We said goodbye to Council members Smith and Neblett. We also said goodbye to a longtime resident, Lorraine Fisher. Lorraine was the mother of State Representative Peter Fisher, who represents Maplewood District 43A. Lorraine passed away from COVID. She had served our community for decades in just a variety of capacities. She was a charter member of the League of Women Voters. She served for quite a long time on our Maplewood Planning Commission. She also served on the Maplewood Housing and Economic Development Authority. And I think anyone who knew Lorraine would say that equal rights and voter rights were always important to her. Our thoughts and prayers are with Peter Fisher and his family. Peter's father also had COVID, but I am told that he is thankfully recovering. It feels good to say goodbye to 2020 in many respects. But tonight is our first meeting of the Maplewood City Council in 2021. And I want to say hello to our two new council members, Council Member Villavicencio and Council Member Cave. Welcome to both of you. I am looking forward to working with both of you. We're going to start out our meeting tonight with the ceremonial oath of office. Now, for those listening in, each one of the council members has been sworn in already over at City Hall by City Clerk Sint, and this really is a ceremonial oath of office because we were previously sworn in last week. So City Clerk Sint, this is your show right now.
Mayor and Council, thank you. I believe we're going to go in the order of swearing in Mayor Abrams and then Councilmember Knutson, followed by Councilmember Villavicencio and then Councilmember Cave. And if it's all right with you, Mayor Abrams, I will just start with you and then we'll continue on through the floor.
Thank you very much.
I, Mary Lee Abrams, do solemnly swear.
I, Mary Lee Abrams, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Minnesota,
and of the state of Minnesota,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of mayor in the city of Maplewood,
of mayor in the city of Maplewood,
in the county of Ramsey,
in the county of Ramsey,
and the state of Minnesota,
and the state of Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations again, and thank you, Mayor Abrams.
Thank you, City Clerk Sint.
Councilmember Knutson, are you ready?
I am.
I, Bill Knutson, do solemnly swear
I, Bill Knutson, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Minnesota,
and of the state of Minnesota,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of council member in the city of Maplewood,
of council member in the city of Maplewood,
in the county of Ramsey,
in the county of Ramsey,
and the state of Minnesota,
and the state of Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations again, Councilmember Knutson, and thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Villavicencio, are you ready?
Yes.
I, Nikki Villavicencio, do solemnly swear
I, Nikki Villavicencio, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Minnesota,
and the state of Minnesota,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of council member in the city of Maplewood,
of council member in the city of Maplewood,
in the county of Ramsey,
in the county of Ramsey,
and the state of Minnesota,
and the state of Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Councilmember Villavicencio, and thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Cave, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
I, Rebecca Cave, do solemnly swear
I, Rebecca Cave, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Minnesota,
and of the state of Minnesota,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of council member in the city of Maplewood,
of council member in the city of Maplewood,
in the county of Ramsey,
in the county of Ramsey,
and the state of Minnesota,
and the state of Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations again, Councilmember Cave, and thank you.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, everyone. Moving on. Next, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
Stands
one nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
with
and
liberty
justice for all.
for all.
City Clerk Stint, would you please do the roll call for us?
Councilmember Juniman,
Here.
Councilmember Knutson,
Here,
Councilmember Villavicencio,
Here.
Councilmember Cave,
Here.
Mayor Abrams.
I'm here. Thank you. Tonight, we will be using a kind of a round robin order that we've been doing since we went virtual last spring. And the order we'll be using tonight will be Councilmember Juniman, Councilmember Knutson, Councilmember Villavicencio, and Councilmember Cave. I would request, because we had this just in our EDA meeting, we're going to do the approval of the agenda. When we get to the minutes tonight, I would ask the two newest council members to abstain. That's what we've done in the past. And I would further ask our city attorney, Mr. Beatty, if he could research that for us so that we kind of feel like we're on firm ground. Is that something that we need to do? Is it something that we have to do? Or is it just simply, good policy? But I think that's something that we can bring back to the council. So with that right now, is there a motion to approve the agenda? Let's do that.
I move approval of the agenda.
second,
Motion by Juniman, seconded by Knutson, the motion to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion?
Mayor Abrams,
Councilmember Juniman.
I have one addition, and that would be a retirement, one retirement.
Okay. And I have one addition too. I attended a Regional Council of Mayors meeting this morning, a Zoom meeting, and I just wanted to share a couple of those thoughts with the council and those listening tonight. So with that, is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, then let's go to a vote. Councilmember Juniman,
Aye.
Councilmember Knutson,
aye,
Councilmember Villavicencio,
Aye.
Councilmember Cave,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well. Moving on to the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion?
so move,
Second.
Moved by Knutson, seconded by Juniman, the motion to approve the minutes from the Monday, December 14th, Maplewood City Council meeting. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then let's move to a vote. Councilmember Juniman,
Aye.
Councilmember Knutson,
aye,
Councilmember Villavicencio,
Abstain.
Councilmember Cave.
Abstain.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to appointments and presentations.
Mayor,
City Manager Coleman.
Mayor, excuse me, point of order. Did you vote?
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not. Thank you very much. I vote aye as well.
a rookie.
Right, I haven't been doing this for a while. Okay, thank you. Moving on to the administrative presentation portion, council calendar update. City Manager Coleman.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. For the benefit of our new members, this is meant to just show a snapshot of what's coming up on our work sessions or City Council meetings. And since we're not having very many community engagement activities, this report has been rather short this past year. But I can tell you that on January 25th, we are going to hear about, they're going to be asking permission for 2 feasibility studies for 2021 street projects. We will also prepare a report for the council on the citizen survey results and overview of what those look like. I sent you an email today giving you sort of a snapshot of the questions that relate to our Park and Rec programming and our Nature Center, and hopefully you got those. We will be sending those out to our advisory boards probably tomorrow, as we have a Nature Center Task Force meeting Thursday evening. And that's in preparation for coming to speak to the council on their recommendations for how to look at more sustainable uses for our Nature Center and Park and Rec programming. I don't know what's going to be on the council agenda, but if it looks like it's a very full agenda, I may ask that we start early to at least do the survey results, maybe in a workshop format. So I will keep you posted on that. The other opportunity for this is council comments. And this is an opportunity for council members to bring forward any topics of concern or interest. So that might be something that you're wondering about. How does that work? Or why do we do things this way? Bring those forward tonight. And if there's a consensus, or at any council meeting at this point in the meeting, and if there's a consensus to do that, then staff will go do research and then prepare a report and bring that back to council. At this particular time, we don't have any carry over items from 2020. So with that, Mayor, I'd be happy to answer any questions or hear what you might have in terms of areas of concern or interest.
Thank you very much for that report. I'm looking forward to hearing more about the citizen survey results. I had a chance to look at the email today, and I thought it was very interesting. And I'm also very much looking forward to the presentations from our 2 task forces. So let me do a round robin and see if any council members have any questions. Councilmember Juniman.
No, thank you.
Councilmember Knudsen.
I guess relative to a workshop, I'm thinking like in the near the end of the first quarter, be nice to have Ms. Paulseth come and talk about how we're doing. Not all the charts and graphs and stuff like that, but just generally how we're doing with our 0% tax increase and, some of the budget reductions and all. I think this should be a good update, good discussion. This is my thought.
Okay. Let's go through one and then we'll come back and revisit that.
Okay.
Councilmember Villavicencio.
Yeah.
None at this time, thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Cave.
And none right now, thank you.
Okay. So back to the suggestion concerning the end of the first quarter or sometime around there, an update from our finance director, Ms. Paulseth, to give us an update on how we're doing. I personally think that that's a great idea. There are so many unknowns in this new year, and going with a 0% levy increase, I think it would be very helpful for me and no doubt for my fellow council members to have an update like that on where things are. So let's hear from council members. Councilmember Juniman.
Fine with me. Sounds good.
Okay. Councilmember Villavicencio.
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay. Councilmember Cave.
Yes, and if I could add something, is this something we're going to do quarterly?
we certainly, right now, I think Councilmember Knudsen only talked about it for the first quarter. I think that's kind of where we are right now.
Okay.
It's-
Councilmember Knudsen, do you want to add to that we would do this every?
I think it's a good idea. I'm talking, a dialogue kind of, not a big, long report, but just maybe get a feel from the department heads. They're going to bear a lot of the whatever goes on a day-to-day basis without budgets. I know, the capital plans are approved way in advance, but there's going to be things going on that we don't know. If for some reason everything's going great, we can have a short meeting, so.
Mayor Abrams, if I might, I think we're happy to do quarterly reports or whatever you would like. I would also say, for the benefit of our new members, Ellie does send out a monthly report on the financial situation. And that might be a good way to, use that document at least as a launching point for our discussion. In addition to that, we're going to have a couple of key events happening in January, early February. The first one being our bond sale, and
Right.
See how we do on that. And that we'll know that on the 25th at our next meeting. And the other is the bids on the fire station. So we do have some pretty significant events happening within the next couple of months. So I will certainly add that to the agenda on a quarterly basis. And just a reminder that you do get monthly reports on our financial status. So, and at any time you can also call me or Ellie for questions on that.
Okay, I think it's a good idea to do, because this is such an unusual time. Thank you for that suggestion, Councilmember Cave, that we do this on a quarterly basis for 2021. I think it will help us because, we have the 2022 budget to look forward to that we will start preparing for in June. And so I think the more information that we can have, because there are just so many uncertainties this year. So let's hear really quickly from other council members about doing a quarterly update. I think I would concur with Councilmember Knudsen that this isn't about big charts and graphs. This is a dialogue. This is pulling out some of the big information that we need to know. Kind of what do we need to look out for? And just a kind of a check-in with the council. Councilmember Juniman, your thoughts?
Fine by me.
Okay, Councilmember Knudsen, you already made your comment known. Councilmember Villavicencio.
Sounds good.
Councilmember Cave.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, great. Okay, so moving on, council presentations. Councilmember Juniman, you had a retirement that you wanted to bring.
Yes. Well, we said we're saying goodbye to people. This one was maybe unexpected for some people, and maybe some people aren't aware that after umpteen years, I don't know how he can be old enough to retire, but he is obviously, that Fire Chief Steve Lucan retired as of the end of the year. And I think we should acknowledge it and thank him for all of his years. When you read his history, you see that he basically grew up with and the fire department grew with him. And we can never, ever repay him for all of the time and effort he gave to the city from the time he was a teenager. It's phenomenal to have a career where you're giving to your community for that long. So I wanted to acknowledge it and thank him and let people know. And I'm wondering how long it will take before his wife says, now find something to do.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
I wanted to bring up a meeting. Interestingly enough, the Regional Council of Mayors Zoom meeting today was all about post-pandemic planning for cities. And, we're not even through it yet. And already we are pivoting one more time. And for Councilmember Knudsen and Councilmember Juniman, who have been with me throughout this and also with staff since the pandemic hit, we started off in emergency mode. And then we switched from that to adapting and, certainly with a lot of flexibility and resiliency, trying to find new creative ways in order to continue to conduct city business. And now the pivot is post-pandemic cities. And I found it rather ironic because we're still, in the middle. It feels to me like, well, we're still in the throe of all of this, but we're going to be, we're going to have to pivot and start thinking about how things are going to look after the pandemic, after the executive orders are basically they're all null and void, and we have moved past it. We've reached herd immunity, and the experts that were on our Zoom meeting today with the other regional mayors were all putting forward the fact that we aren't ever going to go back to the way things used to be. We need to find new and more creative ways to look into a new future, because things are going to change. Work patterns are going to change. Businesses are going to change. Transportation is going to change. There's, retail businesses, office parks. There will be a lot of changes, and we're going to need to be able to adapt to all of that. And so while it may seem a little bit daunting, I think from my perspective, there's also quite a bit of opportunity there, recognizing that this is just one further step in this lengthy process that we have been going through in managing things through this pandemic. So it was an interesting meeting. It was a challenging meeting, and it certainly gave, I think, all of the mayors that were present. And I think, between mayors and other people that were on the Zoom meeting, there must have been maybe more than 50 people that were on the meeting call today, that we all recognize that we do need to start thinking ahead. And one more pivot here, folks. So yeah. Okay, moving on from council presentations. Next on our agenda is the 2021 City Council appointments to boards, commissioners, and miscellaneous groups. City Manager Coleman, this is yours, I believe. No, yes, you're the presenter tonight.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. Every year at the first meeting, the City Council makes the official appointments to boards, commissions, and groups of which the City Council is a member, and to those who serve at the pleasure of the Council. So this year, the 2020 appointments are indicated in the staff report. The first one is the acting mayor. And the way that this works out is that Councilmember Juneman will be the acting mayor this year. And then something that we incorporated into our appointments last year because of COVID is that we have an acting mayor pro tem. And what this is it's a safeguard in case the mayor, and in this case, Ms. Juneman, would be ill or unable to attend a meeting, that then we would have a mayor pro tem. And for 2021, that person is Councilmember Knutson. Our auditor contacts, these are the mayor and another council member who meet with our auditors towards the end of the audit process to have a confidential conversation with our auditors where you can bring up any concerns that you might have to make sure that you feel that it has been a accurate audit and that they found no concerns with any employees or any processes or practices through that audit. And that will be Mayor Abrams and Councilmember Juneman. The Community Design Review Board will retain Councilmember Knutson as that appointment. Our data compliance officers are the same as last year. And those are Andrea Sint, personnel officer is Terry Rameau, and law enforcement officer for data compliance is Scott Nadeau, or Chief Nadeau. The development committee, this is the mayor and another council member who works on my performance review. And this year that will be the mayor and Councilmember Juniman. To the Environmental and Natural Resource Commission, that will be no changes. It'll be Councilmember Juniman with Sean Finwell as the staff liaison. The Gold Line Partners, which is the Gateway Corridor Commission, is recommended that Councilmember Cave be that representative with Mayor Abrams as the alternate. The Gold Line BRT PAC, that's the Policy Advisory Committee, also would be Councilmember Cave with Steve Love as the alternate. And there's a new commission or committee this year, which maybe Mayor Abrams could speak to when we get through this. It's called Heading Home Ramsey. And that will be through the Ramsey County League of Local Government group. And that's Mayor Abrams with Councilmember Juniman as the alternative. The Heritage Preservation Commission will be Councilmember Villavicencio with Mike Sable as the staff liaison. Housing and Economic Development will be Councilmember Knutson, and Mike Martin is the staff liaison. Maplewood Communications, this is someone who sits in and meets with communications staff and myself to talk about various issues regarding our communications plans and programs, and that will be Mayor Abrams with Councilmember Knutson as the alternative. Maplewood Green Team, Councilmember Juniman and Sean Finwell as staff liaison. Our official newspaper is the Pioneer Press. That's no change. As you'll recall from last year, it's hard to find alternative papers that are local to Maplewood. So we're unfortunately paying much more to use the Pioneer Press, but that's the way the world is working these days. Park and Recreation Commission is Councilmember Villavicencio with Audra Robbins as the staff liaison. Planning Commission will stay the same with Councilmember Knutson, and Mike Martin is the staff liaison. Ramsey County Dispatch Policy Committee is Councilmember Juniman, and Mayor Abrams is the alternate. Ramsey County League of Local Governments is Mayor Abrams with Councilmember Villavicencio being the alternate. Regional Mayors is Mayor Abrams. The Rice and Larbiger Project is Mayor Abrams with Councilmember Juniman as the alternate and Sean Finwell as the staff liaison. Rushline Corridor is Mayor Abrams, Councilmember Cave is the alternate, and Melinda Coleman is the staff liaison. St. Paul Regional Water Services Board of Water Commissioners is Mayor Abrams with myself being the alternate. Suburban Area Chamber of Commerce, I attend those meetings. Mayor Abrams is also a representative and Councilmember Knutson is also a representative to those meetings. And the Suburban Rate Authority is Public Works Director Steve Love. And with that, Mayor, I will stand for questions and see if there's any discussion among your members this evening on that.
Thank you, Ms. Coleman. Just for point of clarification, the Heading Home Ramsey is it's a community of care cohort that was put together by Ramsey County. And I guess I was selected as part of the Ramsey County League of Local Government because of the homeless encampment and the issues that we had last year, and the experience that I had with working with our staff and working with a homeless encampment in our suburban community. And so when Ramsey County was putting this forward as an idea to get groups together, representatives from a variety of groups, to really tackle the issue of homelessness in Ramsey County, they went to the Ramsey County League of Local Government and asked for a representative, and my name was put forward. And so that's really how that came about. Our first meeting is coming up next week. I am looking forward to it because I know that from my perspective, it was a very challenging ordeal trying to kind of find our way through how best to handle a homeless encampment. And I think that I certainly acknowledge Maplewood staff who did so much in terms of helping to work through that issue in a very compassionate, very respectful way. And I think one thing, if it's not, you know, I think I've actually called Ramsey County Health and Human Services a juggernaut. It's a huge, you know, department in Ramsey County. And we found it very challenging to kind of work through what do we do and how do we really get services and help for people who are not housed. And what can we do, recognizing that there was certainly, you know, the weather was bearing down on us, knowing that in a Minnesota winter, living outside is just a very challenging kind of a thing. And, you know, coupled with the pandemic, I think Ramsey County has really made some great strides in addressing homelessness. And by putting together this Heading Home Ramsey group, they've really want to take this to the next level so that we can end homelessness in Ramsey County, that we can find solutions, and real solutions that are compassionate and that are responsible. And so that's really what Heading Home Ramsey is going to be. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll report back to the council on it after we've had our first meeting, which as I indicated, is next week. So with that, council members, let's do our round robin and get any input from anybody on the 2021 City Council appointments. Councilmember Juniman.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. On that particular item, I'd like to add for the new people's edification that I do believe it was the way we meaning you and Melinda and our staff, particularly the public safety and public works people, handled this is what helped convince the county that they needed to have some kind of a framework, a structure for handling this. Because I personally believe that they didn't prior to this, that they thought it was all in St. Paul. Surprise, those issues exist very much in the suburbs. And I think it was the way it was, I think, extremely well handled in our city that made them think, perhaps we need some kind of a program for this. So I thank you and our staff who made sure that it was as well handled as possible. But it is a huge responsibility to have an encampment in your city. And I don't think a lot of people in general or cities have thought about it. So I really, this is not going to go away. We're going to wait for people to all of a sudden be unhomeless, if you will. And so I think this is a very necessary thing. And I thank everybody who made sure that this came to be. Otherwise, you know, I kind of expected these assignments, you know.
Thank you.
I'm green around the edges and I work with the dispatch policy committee. That's the way it is.
You do have some seniority there, Councilmember Juniman. That would be correct.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for that. Councilmember Knudsen. Anything to add? Any discussion?
Well, thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Villavicencio.
Yes, I was just wondering, what was the committee that you had named, or that was named for the that I was on as an alternate? I didn't get that one. I'm sorry.
It's in your packet on page 23. It is the Ramsey County League of Local Governments. It is a group of leaders from Ramsey County cities that, well, we're meeting now by Zoom, but we normally meet, how interesting to use that. In the past, we met at CTV Studios in Roseville, and they are leaders from other Ramsey County local governments. And we meet and talk about, there's an agenda. We're a member of that organization. We have talked about a variety of issues. One was homelessness. One was, I mean, we've talked about the pandemic. There's just a variety of topical issues that we talk about. We meet on a monthly basis.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't have any other comments.
Okay, it's also known as RCLLG. That's kind of the just using the initials, but that's what it stands for. So thank you. Councilmember Cave.
Thank you. I just have one question. The committees that we're on, are they going to be reaching out to us with packets and information, or do we need to approach them with that?
Mayor Abrams,
Yes,
we'll have the appropriate staff notify these groups of the changes, and then someone on their end will reach out to Councilmember Cave or Councilmember Villavicencio, however that need will be.
Sounds great. Thanks, Melinda.
You're welcome.
thank you very much for that. Okay, with that, is there a motion to approve the 2021 City Council appointments?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Juniman, seconded by Knutson, the motion to approve the 2021 City Council appointments. Is there any further discussion? Councilmember Juniman,
No, thank you.
Councilmember Knutson,
No, thank you.
Councilmember Villavicencio,
No, thank you.
Councilmember Cave.
No, thank you.
Okay, hearing none then let's take a vote. Councilmember Juniman,
Aye.
Councilmember Knutson,
Aye.
Councilmember Villavicencio,
Aye.
Councilmember Cave.
Aye.
Okay, and I vote aye as well. The motion passes. Moving on to our consent agenda. We have 6 items on our consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I move consent agenda items G1 through 6.
Second.
Moved by Juniman, consent agenda items G1 through 6, seconded by Councilmember Cave. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none?
No, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
I'd like to highlight number 4, just for a discussion. It's a fascinating read. And it's a great story about our employees and our leadership. So I'd just like to call it out for discussion.
And I would like to highlight number 6 just for information, please.
Okay, then let's go to G4. And Mr. Sable, this is your topic.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. My name is Mike Sable. I'm the Assistant City Manager. And HR
Mr. Sable, your audio is really pretty spotty.
Mayor and council members, let me change microphones just a moment.
He's usually got an exotic backdrop on his Zoom.
Yes. For task force meetings, anyway.
Yes.
Madam Mayor and council members, is this a better microphone?
That's much better. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So again, for introduction purposes, Mike Sable. I'm the Assistant City Manager and HR Director. The agenda item before you is an approval of an agreement between the City of Maplewood and an NFP, National Financial Partners. And the NFP is, they work closely with HR staff. They essentially serve as our health insurance brokers. And they work with HR staff and our labor management committee to represent the city's interests in securing of quality, affordable health care. They function as our advisor and provide insurance brokerage services. NFP does this work on behalf of cities around the metropolitan area. What's interesting is that this work is paid for as part of an agreement that we have. And so actually Medica is part of the funding source for this agreement. They really work with us to advise us on what kind of offerings for the health insurance that we offer to our employees and their dependent benefits. They give us advice on, and they will actually negotiate for lower rates on our behalf based on our claim rate. And then they also advise us on our wellness committee, finding ways to help employees have a robust wellness program so that they don't have to use more expensive services later on. This is an ongoing relationship that we have. We're a really proud partner with NFP. They will actually offer us monthly wellness programs, and they really help us sort of get ahead of the cost curve so that we don't incur some more significant claims later on. One moment of sort of plug for NFP, and this was 2 years ago, you may recall, we went out for bid for insurance services, and the initial bid came back as an 18% increase. NFP stepped in on our behalf and negotiated actually a 0% increase, and that was 2 years ago. And our health insurance premium last year went up 5%, which is about $210,000 annually, when we were expecting and anticipating a 15% increase. And so over the last couple of years, we've had some pretty significant dollar savings from our partnership with NFP, and we're excited to continue the relationship with them.
Mr. Sable, that I'm not questioning everything. I think it's fantastic. It is so rare to have an employee workforce with premium increases at 5%. So it's really, NFP is able to represent the city of Maplewood and its employees in a very difficult market in a very great way. So I just read this, and with my background and years of working in healthcare, just kind of an amazing accomplishment. So I just wanted to call it out and thank everybody, especially employees, because they're really looking at actuarial stuff. In other words, NFP is representing your employee base and bringing it to market. And if that employee base is in a good position, you get a good rate. So just wanted to congratulate you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for noting all that, and thank you for your report, Mr. Sable. City Manager Coleman, coupled along with what NFP has been able to do for us, and for those who aren't looking at the packet like I am, since 2005, NFP has saved the city over $2.4 million in health insurance premiums, and that is a direct result because of the city wellness program that we have at the city of Maplewood, and the great employee participation that we have in that program. We just actually were recognized for that recently. City Manager Coleman, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Certainly, Mayor. I think I put that in one of my employee messages last week.
You did.
Yep.
That we have 80% participation and the average is 25%. So we are clearly well ahead of the game. I do think that it helps that we have a community center that we can walk to work out. And it also helps that we have employees who participate in the wellness program. And we do incentivize that. But we really should be proud of this because there aren't very many cities that are in our standing with regard to wellness participation and the robust programs that we have. In fact, I'm sure Mike and Lindsay, our wellness coordinator, get asked by a lot of cities about how we do this. I know I do. So it is indeed something to be proud of, and thank you for that acknowledgement, Mayor and members of the council.
You bet. Thank you. Moving on to the highlight on G6, consulting agreement with Raider Forestry Services. Mr. Love, this is yours.
Yes, Mayor and Council, good evening. I just want to make sure you can hear me okay?
We can. Thank you.
Great. So each year right now, we contract out for our forestry services. In, I believe, 2019 as well as 2020, we have contracted with Raider Forestry Consulting. They've done a very good job for us. They do a lot of work with both our programs such as EAB and Oak Wilt. They also provide expertise to staff, and they also help with inspections of public and private trees that are potentially diseased. Staff has seen some efficiencies by having some continuity to the service, such as they're very familiar with our city, they're familiar with our different programs and what our goals of those are, as well as like our asset management program, which they've been trained in on, and also just how the various diseases have been playing out. So staff is recommending to enter into a contract for 2021 with Raiders and Raider Forestry Consulting. The one thing I would like to add on is a little while back, we did our consultant pool refresh differently. We have a number of areas of service that we had different consultants apply for. We're looking, when we go to redo our consultant pool, making this one of those services so that we're not coming back each year, and that it can be refreshed on a 5-year basis. And with that, I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Love. We have a motion before
Mayor?
us.
Excuse me,
Councilmember
Mayor.
Juniman.
Sorry, excuse me, Mayor, but one of the reasons I wanted to have this highlighted is that so everybody realizes that the pool of resources is looked at. It just doesn't go on and on. But I also wanted people to be aware that having an urban forester is really important to our green infrastructure. And that has something to do with the environmental health of the city and the health of the people as well. And it's one of the reasons we continue to be a leader in the Green Step City program. So that's why I wanted to highlight it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we had a motion and a second, and we've had discussion on it. Let's go to a vote. Councilmember Juniman.
Aye.
Councilmember Knutson.
Aye.
Councilmember Villavicencio.
Aye.
Councilmember Cave.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. The consent agenda passes. Tonight we have no public hearings. And council members, we got in an amended agenda because at least in the hard copy that I got, the unfinished business, new business, award of business as an adjournment was not printed on the back of the page. So there was an amended agenda that was sent out. It was fine on the website that was sent out. It just wasn't printed out. It wasn't copied on our copies. So we have no unfinished business tonight. We have no new business. Tonight's a pretty light agenda. In fact, very light.
Don't get used to it.
No award of bids. And so maybe what I forgot to say in my opening remarks was that in doing this round robin, because we're conducting meetings virtually, is that I'd like to give an opportunity for every council member to add anything that they would like to at the end of the meeting. And so I didn't mean to surprise you, council members Villavicencio or Cave, but we'll go in order. So you'll have a couple of moments to think about what you might like to add in terms of closing out your very first council meeting for 2021. So Councilmember Juniman, your final comments for this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, like I said, don't get used to it. It's, by the way, I had the backside of the agenda, but it really didn't matter, did it? Because there was nothing on it. None, and none. But yes, I think it went well as well. And at least on the agenda, there were some things that not only the new members, but the rest of us should be happy to see. And so it's a good way to start out. And my only, I guess hesitation is the right word, I can't think of the right word at the moment, is that I think there is a light at the end of this pandemic tunnel, but listening to the national news the last couple of days, we still have a lot to go through. And so I think we need to stick to our protocols and do what we're asked. And once again, for members Cave and Villavicencio, if you aren't aware, our staff has been doing a phenomenal job of keeping the city moving. I personally have had neighbors say, oh, just love the way you can do your license now, the appointment thing, not standing in the eternal line. So some good comes out of everything. And our staff does really merit our appreciation for everything they've done to adapt. And I talked to the mayor earlier today and I said, you know, I, of all people, Miss Non-Techie, at the beginning was like, oh no, not Zoom meetings. Oh, please. And I'm amazed at how well it has gone and how much business we conduct. Really, we haven't missed anything significant, which we call a beat. What we miss is seeing each other, which is of course an advantage, but it isn't like we can't get things done. I just think this has been, at least for me, enlightening and very pleasing that we could keep business going. And it says a whole lot about our staff and their patience with us, and a whole lot about our management team. So I thank everybody involved. Welcome to the new members. My feeling is we may be virtual for a while, and if it keeps everyone healthy until we can get the whole vaccination thing under some kind of a control, I think we are still going to be able to do business, and that's very encouraging to me. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Knudsen.
I was just thinking, I finished a short, rapid 2 years, and my friends asked me, what's it like? Especially in light of what you see in nationally, political divide, parties and so forth, where you're kind of forced to take a position. The city of Maplewood is kind of like pure politics. We have a great dialogue. We have good work to do. I think we're really close to the community and close to our community members. And just thinking and looking forward to starting this next term with 2 new members that I know Nikki fairly well. I'm anxious to get to know Rebecca. But I was thinking, we need to model what good government and what dialogue and respect really means. And so I'm looking forward to this next term and especially this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Knudsen. Councilmember Villavicencio.
Thank you. I, was a little taken back by saying something, but I am just so grateful to be here. And like the 2 council members said before me, I think Maplewood is a great city, and I hope that I can help continue on the good work that all of you have done. And I'm just grateful to be here, and just try to be patient with me, as obviously I have a learning curve, but I'll try to learn and work as hard as I can. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Cave.
I'd like to thank all you guys, first of all, for a super warm welcome that I've received from staff and from this first meeting that I've attended. It makes me feel like I haven't been out of the loop that long. And I know I have, Kathy, but it seems there's so much, with a few familiar faces that you come back to. It's so great to see that the city is doing so well in such a crazy time. And it is, hats off to all the staff and the council people who've been there and everything that you've gone through. I look forward to working with everybody this year, and hopefully we can get together sooner than later. And if not, this virtual thing will work. But I just want to let you know that I'm giving it my all. And if there's anything I can do for staff, if there's anything you need, my door is open, and feel free to call me.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Cave. Mm-hmm. And I want to say thank you all. I have marveled at how these Zoom meetings really do work. I want to thank Michael Folds. We had a little bit of a blip, and you just jumped in, solved the issue pretty seamlessly. It's amazing to me that we can do this virtually. I am looking forward to the time when we can all get together. I hope that the weather will be nice and warm, and we will join back together. But meanwhile, we're going to continue to do good work for our community, for our residents, for our businesses. We have a lot of good things on the horizon. And the wonder right now is that we do have this hope of the vaccine, and that we will hopefully reach herd immunity sooner rather than later, and we can all be back together. So with that, thank you, staff, for once again getting us through another meeting. I look forward to working with our 2 new council members, and obviously continuing to work with our 2 more seasoned council members.
Well,
so
that was
with that, council members, staff, You're seasoned. I'm not
Yeah.
experienced.
I know
Well-
what you're
well
thinking,
done.
but it's okay.
Anyway, with that, we are adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
See you
Thank
in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you. Good night.